Ladies and gentlemen, CISM's motto is friendship through sports, and it has reigned supreme here at Fort Bliss, Texas. With the spirit of CISM once again at play, we wish the best for each of the teams in tonight's game. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the 10th day of competition, the 17th game of the tournament, and we want to remind you that this Military World Cup is being conducted by the Conseil International du Sport Militaire, which is French for the International Military Sports Council, otherwise known by its acronym CISM. Founded in 1948 with 5 original countries, this year marks the 70th anniversary of CISM. Today, CISM has grown into the second largest multi-sport organization in the world, second only to the Olympic Games. Comprised of 138 member countries, CISM conducts more than 20 military world championships for its member nations every year. Again, best of luck to our teams tonight and their pursuit to win the Women's Military World Cup. No. Believe it or not, I kind of change it around every day. I just get tired of reading the same old thing, and so I keep the bulk of it in there, but I just kind of rearrange the words.
Do you think I'm trying to keep the memories cool on Tuesday? They're going to have Channel 9 News come out here, and I guess they're going to interview me and do some of the things I'm going to want to remember in the 70 years, 138 member countries.
Get a pencil and paper. Short pencil's better than a long memory, Matt.
I know.
Hello again, everyone, and welcome to Stout Field here at Fort Bliss, Texas, in the 11th edition of the World Military Women's Football Championship. I'm Van Stokes, and we're glad you could join us for today's game. It's the final day of play in Group B here in the quest for the Women's Military World Cup. And today we've got 2 games on tap, with France taking on Bahrain in our first match and Germany going against Brazil in the second game. A win by Brazil would put them in the gold medal match against Korea on Tuesday night, and a win by France would put them in the bronze medal game against China. The Republic of Korea earned the right to play for the championship by defeating China last night 2-0. It is the 10th day of competition in this, the 17th game of the tournament, and we want to remind you that this Military World Cup is being conducted by the Conseil International du Sport Militaire. That's French for the International Military Sports Council. We call it by its acronym, CISM. CISM was founded in 1948 with 5 original countries, and this year marks the 70th anniversary of the organization. Today, CISM has grown into the second largest multi-sport organization in the world. They're second only to the Olympic Games. Comprised of 138 member countries, CISM conducts more than 20 military world championships for its member nations each year. Their motto, it's easy, friendship through sports, and it has reigned supreme here at Fort Bliss, Texas. Let's take a look at the starting lineups for France. They're onto the field. They've got the blue jerseys, dark blue, white numbers, dark blue trunks, red socks. Bahrain onto the field, red jerseys, red trunks. They've got the red socks. For France, it's Marion Mancion. She's in the goal. She's joined by Fanny Moreau, Marina Marcanza, Audie Moreau, Goutia Cacciuni, Sarah Plancion, Manon Guittard, Ludivine Boutel, Claire Guillard, Vivienne Boudald, and Oceane Olivier. That's your starting 11 for France. For Bahrain, in the goal, Khaloud Abdullah. She had a tough game the other night, but played exceptionally well. She'll be joined by Haja Al-Ansari, Dina Abdelrahman, Nora Al-Dasari, Alia Amudeki, Fatima Isa, Mara Mubarak, Mara Alamajari, Rawan Eli Ali, El Ali, Hessa Alisa, and Eamon Ramadan. And this match is underway. Look for France to attack and perhaps attack early. Down the left side goes Gillard. And out of the goal right away, Khalid Abdullah. France opened play in this tournament on the 23rd of June. That was a week ago yesterday, a Saturday night, and they beat Germany by the score of 6-0. They had their comeuppance, however, in their next contest when they took on Brazil, and they lost that outing 0-3. They're currently ranked second in Group B. They've got 3 group points. Have a total of 6 goals that they have scored this year in this tournament, and they have given up only 3. That is Marion Mancion in the goal for France. They're going to bring it out on the left side now, passing ahead to Boutel. Boutel, the long pass down the side, well placed to Gillard, but also well defended by Alamajari. Again, back on the left. France trying to work it. To the center it goes and passes by everybody. Another warm evening here in El Paso, Texas. Not as hot, perhaps, as we've seen it in the past. Started the first game of this tournament with the temperature 104 degrees. We start this game tonight, the 17th of the tournament, 99 degrees. Still warm wherever you may be. France pressing downfield again. Long leading kick by Moreau. Back to the center. And offsides on the play, so Bahrain will send it back in their way. Our officials for tonight's game: Stefan Trieber from Germany on the field. Assistant referee Tobias Kaczynski from Germany also. Meng Xiao Bao from China, the other assistant official. And Leandro de Lima from Brazil, our 4th official. And our 4th official, of course, handles the administrative duties primarily, positioned over between both team benches, takes care of substitutions, takes care of the time in terms of stoppage time, and takes care of the starting lineups for both teams, and handles all things administratively. The throw in by Bahrain. France tightens on the defense very quick. Tracking it down to the corner, but unable to do much with it is Nora Al-Dasadi. Bahrain opened competition against Brazil. They lost that game 9-0. That was their first ever game in CISM women's soccer. And their second game on Friday, they lost to Germany 0-2. Far down the left side, defense for Bahrain will track it down. France comes back on it. Looks to the cross pass. A little bit too hard. Settled near the center of the area and then out on the left side. Nice cross pass that time by Sarah Palacion. Inbound by Boutel. The throw in. Defense tightening up a little bit for Bahrain. And kick out far to the right side. Kachuni will go after it. The 3 defenders for France back in good position. In the center, Audie Moreau. Over to Fanny Moreau now on the left side. Back to Fanny Moreau. Dribbles by one and passes to the center. Good play right now by Manon Guitard. Goes down in the center, under control by Fatima Issa. Issa back on defense. I told you the other night that Khalid Abdullah played exceptionally well in the goal and kept Germany to a 2-0 win. Other than her good play, it could have been, well, much, much more than that. Good cross pass. France threatening early. But they can't get in, so they're going to come back the other direction now. "21 saves on the night for Khalid Abdullah when they played Germany. Germany had 37 shots on goal. And they were only able to sink 2. They both came from Vanessa Scarlatti. France on the attack again. Good leading pass, but out of the goal quickly comes Khalid Abdullah. And she put a good foot behind it. Wind blowing again kind of briskly tonight, but not as bad as it's been in the past few days. Wind may not figure as a factor as it did yesterday, but we shall see. Thinking about the weather here in El Paso, Texas, it can change quickly. Breakaway by France down towards the goal, and it is a goal! France. Breakaway that time. That was by Sarah Palacion. She got the good lead pass, played one-on-one with Khalid Abdullah, took it as far as she could. Abdullah could do nothing about it whatsoever. And you saw Palacion stick it in the right side. So 1-0 France, that goal coming in the 6th minute. France on the attack. Wow. And Bahrain will have its hands full. They will handle the throw-in. Bahrain has given up 11 goals, 9 to Brazil, 2 to Germany, and now one more makes it 12 in this tournament. They have yet to score their first goal in the 2018 CISM Women's World Football Championship. So if nothing else, you would like to see them score. Why? Well, they played with a lot of heart, played with a lot of courage, and have taken on some pretty significant competition, especially in the likes of Brazil and now France. France, the defending champion in this tournament, won it in 2016, the last time it was played. Far right side, France. The give, the go, that's Manon Guitard on the right side. Down to the corner, comes into the cross. A low cross that time. And it goes out of bounds. Made the comment that friendship through sport has been alive here since these teams arrived in El Paso on the 20th of June. Took the 21st of June to acclimate just a little bit and began play on Friday night, the 22nd of June. Since then, competition daily. Corner kick to the outside, and it's going to go up and over the goal. So France will drop back and put themselves in a defensive position ready to try to take over again. France is coached by Cédric Vautier. He's in his first year, but certainly not his first year in terms of coaching women's soccer. He was the assistant national coach in the Games of Rio, in the Olympic Games, so he's got experience at pretty high level. Olympic level coach, putting it mildly. Right side, attack down the right side. Mercanza, she'll try to come center, and Abdullah will come out. Interestingly enough, the goalkeeper tonight for France is Marion Mancion, And Celine Deville not in the goal tonight. Hard-fought play to the outside. And they go tumbling. Bahrain will inbound. You look at France, and they're very technical. They're also they like tactics. They're a tactical team as well. When queried about the style of play that they might have, they say, we have no precise system. But they have players that have played in the top 2 divisions in France. It's a team that has been together for some time. And it's a team that likes to attack. Very, very high skill level on the field as individuals. Shot right by Abdullah, and it's a goal. Goal, France. They have taken a 2-0 lead over Bahrain. That was Goudia Kachuni taking on Khalid Abdullah once again. And she got the right relationship and put it by Abdullah. That goal coming in the 11th minute. So Placion with the first goal at the 6-minute mark, and Kachuni with the second goal at the 11-minute mark makes it 2-0 France. Down the left side. Lead pass, but a little bit too much. Ludovine Boutel could not catch up to it. In Group B, coming into this competition, Brazil sits at the top of the group. They've got 2 wins, have scored 12 goals, so they have and given up no goals, so they have a 12-goal differential. They have 6 group points. And as we said in the open, if Brazil wins their game against Germany, they will move on to the championship game on Tuesday night. That's at 7 o'clock Mountain Time here in Fort Bliss, Texas. France, they've got 3 points. They're in the second place in Group B. But Germany also has 3 points. And France is attacking, and one of the reasons France is attacking is if Germany beats Brazil, then you've got a tie in Group B rankings, and then you have to go to goal. You have to go to criteria, and the first criteria will be goal differential. Long leading pass, right side, Guittard. And out of the goal comes Abdullah. She beat, that time, Moreau to the ball. Had she not, Moreau would have had an easy shot. So you're seeing France on the attack. They believe that if Germany beats Brazil, this goal differential can come into play. But it's going to be interesting to watch the next game as well as this one here, because the style of play by Germany, the precise control, all-around technical play of Germany against the transition-oriented, fast, quick strike, fun-loving team from Brazil. That will be a good one to watch. Here comes Bahrain. They're on the left side. Catching back up comes Vivian Boudard on defense. And down the field comes Kachuni again. Kachuni's going to look to pass out, maybe, but instead she'll pass to the center. Placion in the center. All the way to the right side now. Dribbling nicely around 2 play. Centered off the foot. But back over to Kachuni again. Kachuni, long shot, and it's going to go to the right of the goal. An errant shot, had she slipped it to the left just a little bit more, it could have slid inside the post and could have been goal number 3. But instead, she left that shot wide. $15-minute mark, and when we hit the 25 to 27-minute mark, we're going to see a water break here. It's built into the FIFA rules that under extreme heat, both teams will return to their sides midway through the first half, and they will have an opportunity to take water and an opportunity to stay hydrated. One thing we'll see about this tournament, we have not had any heat-related situations. Break down the left side, shot towards the goal, and nice shot, but great play by Khaloud Abdullah. Abdullah is busy again tonight. Wow, she was tested against Germany, and she will be tested again tonight against France. No shots on goal so far by Bahrain. They fight for the ball. Great fight by Haja Al-Ansari. She's looking for the call. She doesn't get it. France comes down on the left side. Boutel back to the center. And all the way back to defense, Océane Olivier. Right side to Boudal. Boudal crosses the midfield up to Gillard. Here comes France again, centered. Good fight, whistle. And there was a push. Looks like that's going to go against France. So player down on the field for Bahrain. See if we get a number on that for you. Down on the field is Nourda Al-Dasari for Bahrain. So Al-Dasari's down, number 9. And here comes the trainer for Bahrain. Excuse me, that's 9 blue, so that is not Al-Dasari. I thought that was red. That's Placien down on the field. She was surrounded by a bunch of red jerseys, so I could not see who was on the ground, and all the red jerseys in support and in concern on the play that led me to believe that perhaps really that was their teammate on the ground, but it's not. It's their opponent. Which brings us to the point of sportsmanship. We've seen that flee alive here in the 2018 CISM Women's World Football Championships. The Military World Cup, as we like to refer to it. Not only has friendship been fully alive here at Fort Bliss, Texas, but sportsmanship and the action of fair play as well. So down is Placien. She has scored 1 goal. That was at the 6-minute mark. She's taking some water right now. She's sitting upright, so that leads me to believe that she will be back on her feet shortly. And we're right about that. She pops back up. She will walk without assistance, ingest water, and she will walk over to the sideline and gets a round of applause from the fans here at Snout Field of Fort Bliss. And it will be a penalty kick. And taking that kick will be Gutia Cucini. Cucini has scored 1 goal. That was at the 11th-minute mark. And Cucini now will take the penalty kick as Khaloud Abdullah finds her way towards the goal. 2-0 is the score. 19-minute mark. Cucini lines up. She kicks left side of the net. Abdullah went to the left. It went to the opposite side and into the net for goal. Goal by Gutia Cucini, her second goal of the game, and it's now 3-0. We'll put that one at the 19-minute mark. And France having its way right now with Bahrain. Back in the defense to Mara Alamajari. Alamajari will move it back out to the side. That comes out to Fatima Issa. She'll try to put it up the right side. Knocked out of bounds by France. Haja Al Ansari will head back down the field. Throwing it in front of us will be Fatima Issa. Throw in, goes right back. The header back to Issa. And player goes down from Bahrain in the center of the field. Almost the exact center of the field. Referee knew it was a hard hit, so he's going to come over real quick. And he's going to see if Rawan El Ali is in good shape. She's up to her knees, and it looks like she will get up to her feet. 9 shots on goal so far by France. 4 saves by Bahrain. That's Khalid Abdullah with 4 saves on the night. The opposite story for Bahrain. They have no shots on goal. Subsequently, Mancion, no save opportunities as the goalkeeper. And Mancion quick to get into play as she snuffs that one out, distributes back to the right side. France will work it up the field methodically. Into the midfield it goes. Back to the right side. That is Menon Guitard. Long leading pass down the center. And Khalid Abdullah will be there to take control of that pass. Nice kick by Abdullah. Goes down the midfield. Fight for it in the midfield. Comes away with it. Ludovine Boutel. Tracking it down the left side. That time goes Mara Alamajari. Passes quickly out to Fatima Issa. And collision with Issa. Tough play by number 13, Ludovine Boutel for France. And looking to the right corner goes Manon Guitard, but there's nobody there on the reception. So France right now playing very aggressive, particularly on offense. They're very effective on defense, but aggressively on offense. Not over-aggressive, just that's their style of play. An attack style of play. They lead right now 3-0. Back it goes to Mancion. She'll get it back out to the right side. As I said, 99 degrees to start this match. The third match of the tournament for each, France and Bahrain. The question is, what kind of condition might they be in? Oh, and there's a collision in the field. Referee makes the call, and it's going to be France's ball. But again, good sportsmanship. Getting underneath that time. Looked like Aldasari. Push them back 10 yards. They're getting set. Free kick. Back they go, and out comes our official now. We're set. The fake, the lofting kick, in towards the goal. Getting it back out is Bahrain. Good fight for the ball by Al-Ansari. But coming away with it is Guitard. Guitard distributes back to Kachuni, who goes to the right side over to Marcanza. Marcanza takes a tumble, but not because she was touched. She just lost her footing on that. Back into play she goes. Long center pass, that time headed back away by Bahrain. And France continues on the attack. Abdullah comes out of the goal. She's going to have to get back. They fight for the ball over to the side. Abdullah gets back. The shot by France, and it's going to hit the side of the net. France just a little bit too far down the field that time. But credit Abdullah. She came out. She got help from her teammate who dropped back in the goal. Not that she could really do much with her hands, but she could put her body in the place. So good recovery by Bahrain. They defend well nicely that time, and France unable to put another ball into the net. They take the lead 3-0, 3-0, 25-minute mark. You can look for the water break here in the next couple of minutes. Goes out on the far side, so Bahrain will throw it in. Far side, France will try to take over, but Bahrain will get it back quickly. No, here comes France. Bahrain back on defense. They fight for the ball in the center. Good hustle, both teams. Trip on the play. Foul against France. Ball goes to Bahrain. And they would like to put an attack together if they can. Gets by one of the French players, but they've got backup support. They back each other up nicely. They don't leave themselves vulnerable or open. Back it goes to Mancion. Right side once again, Boudald over there. Out to Guittard. Guittard plays well in the middle. Boudald back on defense. But she can cover some territory. She gets all the way down the field. Vivienne Boudald. And there's your water break. Water break coming right now at the 27-minute mark. 99 degrees outside. Both teams have an opportunity, in accordance with the rules of FIFA, to head to the respective team areas in order to stay hydrated. Safety comes first. Fairness and respect second. And friendship through sports on third. Well, this is one of those times where we would normally tell you what's on tap for tomorrow. Well, today's a little bit different because tomorrow, all the players, all the officials, they rest. Especially those going forward to the medal matches on Tuesday. Now, that's Tuesday, July the 3rd, for the medal matches here at the 2018 CISM Women's World Football Championship. Schedule's a little bit different, perhaps, than what you're used to. We've been starting most games at 6:30 in the evening for Game 1, and if we have Game 2, it would go at 9 o'clock here Mountain Time. But the bronze medal match on Tuesday is going to start 10 a.m. Mountain Time here in El Paso, Texas. That's 10 o'clock. That's 10 o'clock Mountain Time, noon on the East Coast in the United States, 9 a.m. on the West Coast. The gold medal match, also on Tuesday, July the 3rd, that's going to come at 9 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Mountain Time, and that will be against Korea and very possibly Brazil if the standing in this game continues throughout. This game has really been, well, about France's attack. 10 shots on goal with 4 saves by Bahrain. Once again, credit Khaloud Abdullah. She was busy, as I indicated earlier. That was against Germany. Germany had 37 shots on goal, and Abdullah had 21 saves. Deutschland won that contest 2-0, but that's largely because of the play of the Bahrainian goalie, Khaloud Abdullah. So water break is over. Back at it they go. And back down the left side comes France again. Joined on the headset right now by the Chief of the United States Delegation, the Secretariat of the United States Armed Forces, Steve Denote. And Steve, I'm not going to say that there's been a lot of surprises in this game, but France has been somewhat relentless on their attack against Bahrain.
Yeah, I think we're seeing a little redemption from their match against Brazil. They wanted to come out strong, make sure that they were able to get on the board early. They have a lot of their starters sitting right now, but they're very anxious to make sure that they're able to get a good play in, get some good attempts, make sure those passes are being precise. That's why we're seeing a steady attack, and the ball's primarily here in Bahrain's territory.
Some of the starters that we saw earlier for France, Alexia Television, she's not starting this game. And neither is Caroline Pizzala or Kimberly Kazoo. Now, Solina Barbons, by virtue of the red card, was suspended for 2 games, so she's not playing this game, and she will not play the next game either.
Yeah, and that's very unfortunate. That clearly one of their number one players, 2 goals in their first game against Germany, then got frustrated right just literally seconds before the half of their match against Brazil. Little frustration came out. Got that red card. Now she's sitting the rest of the tournament, unfortunately.
Unfortunately. Right side, low crossing pass, and Abdullah will knock it back beyond the end line. And also, new goalie tonight for France. Marion Mancion, Selena Deville, not in the goal. Deville, very experienced veteran. Selena Deville played in the Olympics in London. Has been on this team every year for France. But that's the caliber of players that they have in France. They don't really rebuild. They just kind of reload. They get some of the top players around the country in France, certainly in their military. Shot towards goal. What another nice stop that time by Abdullah. Another shot towards goal, and it's going to go up and over the crossbar.
Sail right over there. One good thing about these tournaments is when you know you're in a comfortable lead and you need to get some of those second stringers out on the field, that gives them the international experience, especially the young ones. That gives them motivation to get back, especially as you have a change of the guard, per se, with some of the veteran athletes. You see that with a lot of these teams.
Which brings me to another thought, Steve, and that is you look at some teams and some programs, and once again, this is military sport, and they are military people first, sportsmen second, and due to rotations and due to shifts or due to getting out of the military or due to obligations of their country, you're going to see different players. Well, the thing about France is they don't rebuild. Some of these teams are going to have to rebuild. There's a shot towards the goal. It goes off the right side. That was off the foot of Ludovine Boutel. My point being is there are some teams like France, some teams like Korea, some teams like Brazil. They don't rebuild. They reload, and there's a difference. So it's going to go out to the corner right now. And France is going to work it in. Bahrain sets up the defense, the kick. And it will be taken by Khalid Abdullah. Header in the center of the field. Back out again. Here comes France. Another time. Left side. Boutel back to the center. Guillard all the way to the right side. Boudot looks ahead. Trapped by Bahrain. They get it back out on the right side. Nice play. Here comes Haja Al-Ansari. She will track it down. She will run the left side, the right side.
She's got some speed on her.
She does. She's in shape. She's had an 80-meter sprint, Steve.
Yep.
That's the kind of sprint that might wear you or myself out. But not Haja Al-Ansari. Coming into this game, France has had 5 different people score goals. As we talked about Barbon, she scored 2 against Germany. Mercanza scored 1 against Germany, as did Solange. Cazot, she scored 1, and so did Guillard. They've also got a couple of yellow cards in previous competition. Against Germany, Cazot got a yellow card at the 35 minute, and Lavilla got a yellow card against Brazil at the 67 minute.
France going to keep possession.
Throw in from the near side, and they're going to set it up on their half of the field. Lead it to the right side. I like the technical skills of France, though, Steve, and I like their tactical approach. You got to admit it's pretty solid.
It is, and you can see if you look down on the field, you see their forwards, and their mids, they are stretched all the way from sideline to sideline.
And that's the way this game is played so often here at the high international level.
You have number 13, Boutel, all the way down, riding that sideline. And then you have on the opposite side their center mid or their right mid. They're stretching that. That's why they're expanding that Bahraini defense, forcing them to create some gaps.
Olivier to Guittard to the far side.
That's an offsides.
An offside call against France.
That was an easy call.
When we can make that call up here in the booth, then you know it's been pretty blatant.
And we have Kimberly Casso's brother watching, very excited. Hopefully we fixed her name. Thank you. He's been very active on our comment line. We appreciate that. And we appreciate all the comments coming in. Hope you're enjoying the broadcast. We do apologize for some of the earlier technical difficulties with the heat. Sometimes plays havoc with the wires. But we make sure we get these games up and running for you.
Long pass, trapped nicely.
Looks like another offsides.
Offside once again.
Yeah, we're seeing a little aggressiveness out of France right now. They want to get on the board early.
But it's an aggressiveness in a good way, Steve. And sometimes when we use the word aggression, you know, it can be taken well, not as being positive or not as being good. But what you're seeing is a very aggressive offense and an attacking kind of offense by France, which is really a good form of aggression.
Yep. Yeah,
France is control play in the center of the field. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, they're not being aggressive physically. They're making sure, if you look, their forwards are right on the line of the defense. That's why you're seeing some of these offside calls. But they are not knocking their opponents over.
No.
They're making sure that they're creating those long spaces. Look at some of these passes.
Technically,
you can see right there, look, between two passes right there, or two defenders, creating these gaps. You just see a very technical match going on right now.
Center of the field, long shot. It's a goal! Goal by France. Long shot. Well done. That looked like Guittard, number 12, that had the shot on goal, and she made good of it to give France a 4-0 lead. They did a great job of passing it around. There was plenty of room in which to set up for the shot. And Guittard makes good on it. That came in the 38th minute.
Yep, number 12.
I got number 12 on that. Right side, here comes Alan Sadi. Give is to Elisa, right side. She'll boot it into Alisari. It goes back to Elisa, and you got an offside call right there. And there is perhaps the youth of Bahrain as the give and the go and the pass back to Elisa. Found her offside. I think when it comes to experience, the experience tends to favor France. And the long pass down the right side. Check on this score, will you? I'm pretty sure it was by 12. France continues to attack. 13 shots on goal, 5 saves so far for Abdullah. And France, who fell to Brazil, and as you indicated, Steve, to note, they're looking for a shot of redemption here tonight.
Absolutely. They were looking to be one of the favorites into the finals. They were looking for another rematch with Brazil. France and Brazil have played in the finals the last 2 championships. 2015, Brazil defeated France in the Military World Games held in Munyang, South Korea.
And Korea came in third.
Yep. And then last year, or in 2016, France defeated Brazil on their home territory in Rennes, France, and then you had Korea once again in the bronze.
Third.
So now Korea is in the finals, and that's primarily the way the draw worked out. Brazil and France
shot opportunity
came into the
left
same
side.
group.
And up and beyond the goal. But I'm sorry, go ahead and continue.
Yeah, so since they were in the same group, the draw was done at the CISM General Assembly in May in Punta Cana. April, mind you, I'm sorry, April. And when Brazil and France were in the same group, a lot of people said, ooh, this is going to be interesting, because everybody was hoping they get back in the finals again for another third of that, what we call the rubberneck match here in the States. However, because they're in the same group, when Brazil knocked them out, France is trying to now get into the bronze medal match at this point.
Header, and it goes up and over the goal. When you take a look at Brazil, that's very, very interesting, Steve. They have won 4 CISM championships. They have won 1 silver and 1 bronze. They have participated in 6 years and either won gold, which they did 4 times, silver once, or bronze. They have medaled every year they have been in it.
Yep. And that just shows you the quality of the Brazilian program.
'41st minute, and it's 4-0 France.
Yeah, about 3 more minutes left until we get into stoppage time, which we're seeing on average of roughly around 2 minutes.
And everybody's moving slower on the field. Nobody's in a big hurry right now. That's just kind of the way that one is.
Yeah, the first half you got the sun right in your eyes if you're looking to the west. You see all the players right now, they got their hands up trying to block out the sun. Careful you don't get a handball when doing that.
Long shot off the face of Dina Abdelrahman from Bahrain.
She took that full force, didn't she?
She did.
The ball didn't even bounce; it just stopped.
Number 4, that
dropped right down.
That stunned her, but she didn't spin that long. You know.
Nope. She held her head for a second, which is some good toughness there. Didn't drop and roll around. That's what we like to see. But I believe she has an Adidas tattoo right now.
She might have, close to her forehead. You talk about toughness, and then you talk about military sports, and so many of the CISM sports that are conducted on an international basis, they really foster toughness in the military athlete, and that's part of what it's about. Now, the motto is friendship through sports, but the reality of the matter is, too, you have an opportunity to continue to develop the attribute of toughness, mental
Absolutely.
toughness, physical toughness.
Yep. And we see a lot of toughness out of our women warrior athletes. You don't see them rolling around a lot. When they go down, they are out there. They're jumping right back up.
And, of course, that's what you want in your military personnel, the ability to handle the difficulties, overcome the obstacles, surmount what's in front of you, and accomplish the mission. I mean, that's kind of it in a nutshell, is it not?
Yep.
Back it goes. Mancion gets the kick. Nice kick. Headed back this time to Khalid Abdullah.
Yep. Final minute of regulation play for this half. Once we get an indication on how much stoppage time from the 4th referee, we'll announce it.
Nice kick that time by Abdullah. And France looks like it might call off its attack here for the final few minutes. They drop back primarily in defensive posture, out of bounds. Viviane Boudald on the far side. Bahrain has a throw in.
Seeing the 4th referee come out, and we got 2 minutes.
2 minutes of stoppage time. We've come to the end of regulation time, so we add 2 minutes to our watch. And Bahrain has yet to take a good shot on goal. France, meanwhile, has been relentless on offense and very, very much of a problem on defense. Back to the center. Played nicely by Guittard that time. Over to the right side to Marcanza. Good skills, but good job by Bahrain. Nice follow-up that time. Over to the right side. The stop. Bahrain sets the defense. Back out. And that is where Guittard hit one from the 37-minute earlier. Now we'll go to the left side. Alone for the shot. Opportunity to the right.
Couldn't bend it.
Could not bend it. Waited perhaps just a little bit too long. Abdullah drops down. Not for sure what she dropped down for. Oh, she has got a cramp. She's pointing back to her hamstring. So it looks like she might have a cramp. About 1 minute and 15 seconds into stoppage time. And I could see Khalid Abdullah point as she went down. I didn't know what caused her to go down, but as soon as she went down, she went back to the hamstring. So out comes the trainer. And they're going to have a quick look. Now, they don't have water, though. Yes, they do. They've got a little bit of water. The coach for Bahrain is Khalid Harban. He's been a military coach for 3 years. It's his second trip to the United States. Been coaching soccer for, well, about 22 years. He's assisted by Mohammed Adnan. The Bahraini team's been together for a couple of years. It's a relatively new team. They train at their base. It's their first time in CISM, as we indicated earlier. And fair to say, Steve, to note, they have learned a lot about CISM, and they have learned a lot about the quality of play here in this, the 2018 edition of the CISM Women's World Military Cup.
Absolutely. So the trainers that came out, they're actually a physician and a trainer from Fort Bliss. Bahrain was unable to bring any medical personnel with them during this trip, so we were able to get lucky and be able to provide some services from the great medical team here at the Beaumont Hospital here at Fort Bliss. So thank you, gentlemen, for coming out.
Plus you brought in the head of our medical team to represent the United States as well, and they have done a great job.
Absolutely. Colonel Dwayne Henyon, very appreciative of him coming in to serve as our medical director throughout the tournament from Fort Hood, Texas.
So good to see Abdullah work out that cramp. And she's ready to go.
Yeah, that stoppage time should be ending here shortly.
Probably another 45 seconds.
Yeah.
Left side. If you're Bahrain, you want to keep France from scoring again. That was a great effort that time, sticking her body right in the way of the ball. That was Fatima Issa.
Yeah, we're going to get a corner kick now. Now, there's no wind tonight, so it's going to – last couple nights we've had very high winds, so every time they bend that ball, get a little English on it, we've been seeing the wind assist either for or against. But right now it's got to be pure skill and contact on that ball.
The left foot up, the corner kick, headed out by Bahrain.
Too high.
And a long kick by Guittard.
That's
and it will go over the crossbar.
And that's half.
That's half. Time expires in the first half in the contest tonight between France and Bahrain. And it's been, well, 90% France tonight. Times of possession, we're not keeping it up here, Steve, to note, but if you had to put a figure on time of possession, I'd say it was a strong 85%.
Oh, I'd say longer.
If not longer, in the favor of France. France, 15 shots on goal, 6 saves tonight by Abdullah, but 4 shots on goal, good tonight. The first one came off the foot of Sarah Palacion. That was at the 6-minute mark. And then Gutia Kachuni stepped in at the 11-minute mark, followed up by a penalty kick by Kachuni at the 19-minute mark. And then at the 37-minute mark, that's when Manon Guittard put the 4th goal into the net for France. So we come to the half, and they take a 4-0 lead. Again, I want to remind you that tomorrow there is no play. 18 CISM Women's World Football Championship. We're at the half, and it's France leading Bahrain 4-0. We're going to take a break. We're going to go get a little hydrated. That's what we tell the players to do, and we're going to practice what we preach. We're going to step aside for a few minutes. When we come back, we'll be ready for the second half. We're back right after this break.
As a nation and as a military, we are proud to continue the valuable traditions of promoting peace and friendship through sport. It's quite interesting and worth noting that General John Pershing, no stranger to Fort Bliss, as he served here earlier before he went to World War I, would be the force behind attempts to break down cultural and political barriers and promote friendship and morale among servicewomen through sport as far back as 1919. It was his foresight and vision, recognizing the value of sport, that eventually led to the establishment of the CISM. And now, nearly a century later, we still strive for peace and harmony among the nations and recognize the value of the International Military Sports Council and moving nations closer to that lofty goal. So let us continue this tradition of friendly competition, sportsmanship, and camaraderie. May the friendships that will last a lifetime be established over the next 2 weeks, and may the best team win.
Your success will be measured not by how many goals you score, not by how many games you win, but the number of friends that you are going to make and the perpetuality of those friendships. So please, you need to note that very, very carefully. That is the motto of CISM.
Welcome back to Stout Field here at Fort Bliss, Texas, everyone, as we're getting set for the start of the second half. And the first match today between France and Bahrain. France managing to take a 4-0 lead into the half. They are back on the field now as we get set to start the second half. France back out there again. They've got the dark jerseys, the white numbers, dark pants. They've got red socks. Bahrain, as we look at the field, they are to our right. They have got the red jerseys, white numbers, red pants. They've also got the red socks on tonight. So we may have some substitutions here. We will do our best to keep them. Number 6 is out of the game. That is Moreau. Into the game for France. It's going to be number... We'll have to get that number for you. Into the game for France. Number 15, Pamela Babinga. So France very much on the attack in the first half. It'll be interesting to see how they go into this second half. Also into the contest for Bahrain. That is going to be number 30 coming into this game. Number 30, Rama Salim. France kicks off. Second half underway. Boudald still on the field. Comes down the center for France. They look on the right side. They find Babinga. She controls it. Gets it back to the center. Very active. You can see her fresh legs. Majority of her teammates have been out there for a whole half, but not Babinga. She's new. And she's got the energy right now. She's got the strength. Boudal to the right side. She dribbles to the center. Puts a shot over towards the goal. Left foot and goes to the left. So France trying to come out on the attack right away. And in the goal, Khalid Abdullah. But she will not take the kick. She doesn't have to, so she passes it up. And France will maintain the pressure. All the way again over on the right side. Boutel. Tie-up, very quick challenge. France will come away with it. They have plenty of time to set it up. Down close to the goal, practically the whole team from Bahrain. So France will set it up on the outside. Back out to Boudal. She'll dribble, launches a shot. Knocked down that time by Khalid Abdullah. They are not afraid to shoot. They've got the power. They've got the strength. And they will take those shots. We saw earlier, Bliss put one in from about the same distance. France will set it up. They will try it again. Into Bliss. Back out to Pizzala. Caroline Pizzala into the ballgame for France. Pizzala very active in the previous games for France when she was on the field. And now we've got a Bahrainian player down on the far side. Looking on is Rama Salim. And up she steps, and that is going to be Haja Al-Ansari. She bounces up nicely. And out of bounds on the other side by Cucini. It's a hot one here. 98 degrees right now, 37 degrees Celsius, 98 degrees Fahrenheit. As the sun starts to wind its way down over the Franklin Mountains to our west. And in the past, we've had some pretty nice sunsets here at Fort Bliss, Texas. The difference tonight, the flag, the United States flag draped around the pole. We have seen it really at 90-degree angles to the pole and just really whipping in the wind. We've had winds up to 25 miles an hour. Tonight, very few winds, very little wind, I should say, 5 miles to 8 miles per hour. And here comes France. They're going to try to come down the whole length of the field. Control on the right side. Nice lead pass to Gillard. Gillard's going to look down the right side, finds Babinga. Babinga to the center. Controlled nicely near the center, shot towards the goal. That came off the foot of Placien. She's got one goal tonight and did not score there. Very eager, very aggressive, and a good shot, but just wide to the right side. Look for France to continue the attack. After beating Germany 6-0, they lost to Brazil 0-3. My broadcast partner, Steve Denote, called it a shot of redemption, perhaps. You can call it whatever you want. But France thinking perhaps, well, Germany could beat Brazil. If Germany beats Brazil, they want to be in the strongest position they can be in. Shot will drift over to the left side. That was off the foot of Babinga. Pamela Babinga. And Steve Denote, as I take a look out there on the field, I'm going to say that France has started the second half pretty much the way they played the entire first half on the attack.
Absolutely. You mentioned it there, shot of redemption. They're just trying to get in there. They got some substitutes, trying to get more players active, more players getting that international experience, and they want a shot. Everybody wants a shot. You know, they come in, they're brand new, fresh legs. They want to get in there and get some points up on that board.
Now, don't ask me why, but this is Bahrain's first CISM experience in women's soccer. I would like to see Bahrain score a goal. They have not scored a goal in this tournament.
Absolutely. I mean, it will just help their program.
Right side, right foot, cross kick, and it's going to get by everybody. Back towards the center, setting up one more time. And Bahrain will kick it out. Very active was Claire Gillard on the right side. She put a shot out, but it went by everybody.
That's a good corner to take. Get the ball bouncing up left and right. You want to try to get it out of there. So great job. And again, we're excited to see Bahrain here. We brand new to women's football in CISM. Having them here is just expanding this program from the original 4 teams. Up until now, we've had only 8 teams at our CISM championships. This year, we've had 9. Again, we were supposed to have 10. We were ready to host 10. And due to some logistical, administrative issues, Cameroon was not able to join us. So very sorry to see that, but we know we'll have them back. They were in France. We know they'll have them back in China next year. And this is just going to be increasing the quality of play out there.
It will. This tournament started with a total of 9 teams, 5 teams in Group A, USA, South Korea, the Netherlands, Canada, and China. There would have been 5 teams in Group B if Cameroon had been able to make it, but they could not, so there were 4, France, Germany, Bahrain, and Brazil.
And here's an interesting fact I don't think we talked about. China originally was not going to be in this tournament. The Bahrain team and South Korean team, they had qualified through their respective vice president for CISM, and they were named as the 2 official CISM teams from Asia. And late in the game, China requested if they could be part of the championship, but because of the way this tournament was set up, you have the hosts, USA, and France, the defending champions. They had automatic berths. From there, it was 2 nations per continent. And with those 2 nations already filled from Asia, when China requested, we had to look to see if one of the other continents were not going to fill their quota And with Cameroon the only designated team from the African continent, there was a spot open, and that's where China came in. And having China on board, no one really knew that they were going to be where they're at. They are now in medal contention.
They're in medal contention and will be playing for the bronze medal at 10 a.m. on Tuesday morning, the 3rd of July. And the other nice thing about it, Steve, to note is that they will be hosting the Military World Games in 2019. So they come and they take part in perhaps one of the biggest, most interesting sports within CISM, certainly on a worldwide perspective. And then they return to China. They will be hosting, well, the Military World Games, which is an Olympic-like event, multi-sport event, multiple countries, about 7,000 athletes, military athletes, I should say, coming into China next year, and that's going to be quite an event.
And that's one of the reasons why China wanted to come in for this. They knew they were going to be host. They wanted to see how this competition was going to be conducted. We have a couple of observers from the Chinese organizers from the World Games and their women's football team here. They wanted to see how they would be able to fare come next year when they would be hosting. So we're glad we have them. And they definitely raised the bar again. So now we know there's another country out there with a team. Before that, we weren't really certain if China was going to have a program or not. So we're up to about 16, 17 nations out there in total that have teams. And very proud to see the women's football program advance like this.
And it's not just women's football. We're proud to see the growth of military women within CISM and all the sports combined. Here comes France down the far side. Babinga is going to take it down near the corner. She's going to center the pass. Nice center pass, and it is a goal! Goal, France, and credit Pamela Babinga on a beautiful cross pass headed nicely into the goal.
Yeah, having trouble seeing who's down right now, but the French player who headed it, she did the header and went down.
That was as pretty of a cross pass as you could see, a textbook header into the goal, and you simply could not ask for more if you were France. Now, let's see if we can't get the number of the player that's down and the player that managed to put the head on it and send it into the goal. If this was the World Cup from Russia, we would have multiple looks, about 21 different cameras on the field. But that's not the case here. We're just glad to be coming to you live stream on Facebook here with this 2018 CISM Women's World Football Championship. Down the road, perhaps, well, we'll have multiple cameras, multiple perspectives, and multiple views, and we can pull up this information very, very quick. You can see at the same time we can. But they are working on the player down on the field from France. She is up on her feet, perhaps. And that looks like number 13, Ludovine Boutel. And she's going to be okay. My question was, Boutel was the one on the header. Is that correct? So Boutel picks up the goal. Goal number 5 for France. I'm going to say that came in the 55th minute and gives France a 5-0 lead. Bahrain will throw it back in. Just the way that took place. Now, Pamela Babinga was the substitute here to start the second half of play. She brought fresh legs into the game, and she has shown her fresh legs going up and down this side of the field. And what a beautiful crossing pass she put into play last time. Here she is again. Beats one, lead pass down the right side, down to Badald, and off the Bahrainian player it goes. France continues on the attack. Right now they got 19 shots on goal. You got 7 saves on the day so far by Khalid Abdullah, and then 5 goals scored for France. So the attack has just been, well, I don't want to say merciless, but it's been ever present. Let's put it like that. France going to try to get it back again. They do. They come away with it. Let's see what they set up. And credit Bahrain defense that time. It picks up. Coming in from the far side. Abdullah will have to pick up the ball, put it back in play. She does. Into the wind it goes, controlled by France. Right side, Babinga. Back to the center again, then back to the right. Pizala. All the way to the far corner. Looks like Marcanza over there. Dribbles around one and she goes down. Foul on the play, but it's going to go against Marcanza. And Bahrain's going to run it down the right side. That is until she gets 2/3 of the way there, and France will take it back. Looked like Al-Majari on the other side. That had a good run, but had it taken away. Back to Babinga. Back to the center. Boudog. Babinga pass inside into Boutel, and that's going to go out of bounds on the near side. France will maintain possession on the throw-in, and the attack continues. And it's really interesting, Steve, to note when you see the fresh legs come into this contest, what a difference they make.
Absolutely. I mean, that was a pure example of fresh legs feeding the attack from all the way down near the corner. Beautiful header by Boutel. I mean, she came in like a rocket.
That was exceptionally well played. I mean, from a textbook clinical point of view, you could yank that one out and put it in its own clinic film.
Absolutely.
As how that should happen.
And the title is How to Hit a Header from the Corner.
Bahrain trying to control the ball in the center of the field. And France will take it back very quickly. Right side again. Dribble towards the center. Bahrain takes control. Tough challenge right there by Policion. She comes up with it. Backwards kick. Bahrain will take it. Kachuni will kick it back to her deep backs. They will set it in motion once again to Kachuni down on the left side. And France always in motion. They don't dribble a whole lot. They will take it and pass. They'll touch and pass, touch and pass, touch and pass.
And when they receive the pass, it's very controlled. They're not letting it bounce off their foot. It's not bouncing out of play. I mean, they are stopping it, taking control, looking for the opportunity. And as soon as the player passes, they're able to move into a good position to get open. And because we're seeing sideline to sideline, they're stretching that Bahraini defense out.
They're playing at a very high technical level, is France, and you add the aggression to it, the aggressiveness and the attack kinds of play, and what you see is a very dominating performance. That's what we have out there right now.
Bahrain's trying to get it upfield. They just can't advance it. But there's a header by the French outside, so Bahrain's going to take it again.
Now here's an interesting look right here. As I indicated earlier, Brazil beat France 3-0 after France beat Germany 6-0. And you take a look at the scoring for Brazil. It was a very close game all the way through. There's a pass to the right side. Babinga again. She'll center it again. Shot just wide. Same kind of play as the last goal that was scored by Boutel. But that one went a little bit wide. But I'm looking at Brazil scoring against France. And that was back on Monday, the 25th of June. Brazil scored early. They scored at the 4-minute mark, and then, Steve, they did not score again for 76 minutes. They scored at the 80-minute mark. Pamela Vasconcelos scored, and then Lima scored at the 90-minute mark. So for 76 minutes in that game, it was a hard-fought contest between France and Brazil, through stamina and strength, managed to pull away at the very end.
Absolutely. They took advantage of some breaks in the French defense, and they were able to take control near that, that last 10 minutes of the match, which really stunned the French team because they, scoring as early as Brazil did, everybody thought, uh-oh, this is over. But then the scoreboard just fell silent for a long time.
And France was playing with 10 aside.
Absolutely. And that was the key. You know, Bourbon's went out with the red card, and they just couldn't sustain it. That final 10 minutes, the defense just finally broke. They weren't getting anything in the offensive zone. Everything was in the mid to defensive side for the French, and they just weren't able to maintain. But I think that red card was the critical factor in why that game fell into Brazil's favor.
Very much so. Very, very much so. But my point in sharing that information also is that you saw good technical skills out of France against Brazil. Even though they lost 3-0, you saw some very good technical, tactical points by France that night.
Absolutely.
And you're seeing the same kind of play tonight against Bahrain, but Bahrain does not have the defense, or they don't have the team, or the kinds of skills that Brazil threw up against France. And that's why we're seeing a lopsided score, 5-0 in favor of France.
Yeah, and the French have not changed their offense or defensive strategies. When you look at the match against Germany, they won 6-0, and they controlled the match throughout. Germany wasn't able to get into the offensive zone, and they carried that over into the Brazilian match.
Yeah,
they just were not able to, keep up the stamina. So now we're seeing France for the third time, and many of their starters are sitting as they're preparing for the medal match. But we're still seeing a lot of skill and technicality out of the French team, despite some of the second stringers coming in.
That's Boudal. She takes it all the way down. Shot.
Just a little too high.
Just a little bit too high, but credit France. They worked it all the way in. That was Mabinga on the goal attempt, but she just launched it right over the crossbar.
And we got another player down for Bahrain.
But one of the things that we're seeing with France right now in terms of technical skills, they're not relying on the pass. They are dribbling through that defense right now. They'll take that ball and see how many players they can actually dribble through. So they may be taking advantage, perhaps, of Bahrain's conditioning. Can't say that for sure, of course. But just like that, they beat them on the head ball.
Then again, Bahrain, this is their first year, not knowing what to expect. I'm sure they'll go back, evaluate their selection process, their training throughout the year, make adjustments, tweak it, try to get back onto the scene again. We'll see what happens, how, based off of China and Korea's play on this tournament, you may see that Bahrain might not get the shot.
Got a foul on the play, yep. Push from behind. I would be surprised if there's not a yellow card on that one. Blatant push there was. Let's see if it's going to be administered.
He's issuing a warning. He's not reaching for the card.
And I like that. The verbal warning, the verbal caution, if you will. Before they decide to go to the card, they have warned them once. Now if it happens again,
yep,
there will be a card.
And that was the first big push from behind we've seen from either team so far.
Very physical game at the international level. And, of course, all you got to do is watch the World Cup coming from Russia. And even though it's the men, you'll see how physical they get.
Yep. Especially when they know they're about to go home. I'm going to go all out.
Long shot towards the right side.
Just outside.
To no avail. That might have been an opportunity for Bahrain, but couldn't make it happen. And, of course, where they are in the World Cup right now is you win or you go home. They're in that round of 16. And earlier today, we saw Russia advance.
Did you see that penalty kick?
On the penalty kick, I did.
Totally missed it and then put his leg up and kicked it out. Unbelievable.
Comes France again, but Bahrain back in defense. They've got 5 back on defense right now. That doesn't bother Boutel, though. She's going to get it to the right side.
And because of the number of teams for this particular tournament, and that designates the length of how we conduct these championships, that's why we only have these group phases leading up to just the gold and bronze medal matches. So we haven't seen any overtimes or penalty kicks. But tomorrow, that's a different story. We may see those for the first time.
Shot on the left side, but great save that time by Khaloud Abdullah. Again, she's turning in a very fine performance.
Absolutely. She's had quite a bit of saves out there. Phenomenal saves, to say the least. And without that, you'd see a much higher score right now. So she's playing a lot better than she did the last couple nights. We're seeing a lot more control from her.
She had 21 saves against Germany the other night.
Yep. And right now she's controlling it. So even with Germany, the ball was hitting her hands and she was dropping it quite a few times. Now she seems a lot more relaxed, settled in. And she's not making those goal kicks right now. I have a feeling it has something to do with her going down earlier in this match with a hamstring injury.
Here comes France. They're going to try to set it on the left side. They'll come back to the center. Clearly down the center, long shot, and it's going to go over the crossbar. Steve, when we get to our closing ceremonies, and that's going to be the end of the gold medal game, at that point they're going to stop and they're going to recognize, fair play. They'll have a fair play trophy. They're also going to give the top scorer, which is really pretty much academic and fairly easy to figure out. They're going to have a most valuable player award too, but they're also going to have a most valuable goalkeeper. And at this point in your mind, who stands out to you in terms of being, among the considerations for most valuable goalkeeper? I'm telling you, you've got to put Abdullah up there. You've got to consider her.
With the number of saves, but she did let up a lot of goals. I would say Desjardins from Netherlands had quite a tournament. A lot of saves, a lot of stops. Only 4 goals total.
Petra Dugadin from the Netherlands certainly has to be among those goalkeepers considered.
One of the most busiest out there that allowed the fewest goals, in my opinion.
She was good. 24 shots on goal by France tonight. 14 saves by Khaloud Abdullah. 5 goals scored by the French team. There's something we haven't seen in a long time. A pass all the way across the field to nobody on the other side.
Yep.
That one was done by Pizzola. As the sun now has dipped behind the Franklin Mountains. Another nice sunset here in El Paso, Texas. Want to remind you that tomorrow is an off day. When I say off day, I mean there's going to be no soccer. It's a rest day tomorrow for all the players, the officials, and all the folks in support of 2018 CISM Women's World Football Championships. We're back again on Tuesday. 10 o'clock Mountain Time here at Fort Bliss, Texas for the bronze medal match, and at 7 p.m. Mountain Time for the gold medal match. '72nd minute coming right up. We're now in the 72nd minute of play. And just a stunning view of the Franklin Mountains, and just juxtaposed behind that really pretty sunset cast a nice glow down upon the field as the teams have returned to the sidelines for a water break. Now we can get a good look at that sun as it dips behind the mountain range, and you just see the silhouette, if you will, of those mountains juxtaposed against the sky. And you know what, Steve Denote, I mean, it's a beautiful setting. I don't know how else to describe it. It's just a beautiful setting.
And you look at the way the clouds are settling in, that beautiful hue coming in. That's one beautiful thing right now about El Paso is just the mountain range, the way the sun sets beautifully behind those mountains, the clouds that form right behind them. We've seen some interesting cloud formations. I mean, the other day we had one in the middle. We weren't sure if it was dropping dust or a little bit of rain. One of our folks in the booth thought it was the end of days because of the unique colors coming out.
And the sun, by the way, was setting down in the west, and that little formation of colors and hues was to the east.
And it looked like the sun was shining through it. So we're like,
it did.
Is there two suns we're not aware of?
How could this happen? Is the end of days, perhaps? So we thought. Purple haze is what I like to say.
Right.
And we got a player from Bahrain down on the field, and she stayed down there throughout the duration of the water break. So
yeah, I'm curious if that was an injury, if it's just dehydration, or
not 100% for sure.
Yeah.
But let me say this: that you take this setting sun, and you take this beautiful field and stout field, and you place it here at one of the premier military installations in the United States Army, and you have got all the elements for a great, great competition. Throw in the world-class hosting, if you will, from the MWR folks here at Fort Bliss, and you could not ask for anything more than what this tournament has received in its duration.
I mean, just a fine job from the staff here at Fort Bliss. They have every detail covered.
Fort Bliss, Texas is the nation's air defense headquarters. They even have a German unit that trains here. It's a community that has grown to 164,000 people. Now that includes active duty soldiers, family members, retirees in and around the El Paso area. Here comes France down the right side. The cross, attempted header, didn't work. Goes out on the left side, blocked nicely once again by Bahrain. Can they clear? No, they can't, and it is a goal. Goal, France. They could not clear, could Bahrain, and it is booted from the left side into the net, and it's 6-0 France. Wow.
Trying to get confirmation. It looked like Bedinga on that one.
But Binga, she came in and started the second half. She has had fresh legs the whole time. I think that might have been Marcanza, number 5 on the far side.
Okay.
That snuck that in. Barbinga is number 15. And she's been playing on the right side. On the other side, number 5, Marina Marcanza. France 6-0. They're coming at them again. They will not let up. Our teams have all had a chance to go to Freedom Crossing 2 here in El Paso, Texas. I should say at Fort Bliss, Texas. It is the first open-air shopping center on an Army installation worldwide. And you get in the middle of this shopping center at Freedom Crossing, and, well, guess what, Steve? You don't even realize you're on a military installation.
I was there today for lunch with my son.
Fascinating, isn't it? Right side. Now, that's Barbinga. It's taken away from her, though. Nice play by Bahrain. Fort Bliss recognized as perhaps the third largest military installation in the Department of the Army. They sit behind Fort Bragg and Fort Hood in that category. Landmass, though, I'm told they're the largest. From pistols to rockets, it's all about it.
And big tanks.
Big tanks. Home of the 1st Armored Division.
Big tanks.
Collision on the other side. It will be France's ball.
And little tanks.
Let's just say armored vehicles. How's that sound? Long kick, free kick. France headed back the other direction, and that pushed the Bahrainian player clearly to the back. Moreau will lead to the left side again. Puts it back, trying to get to the center. Kicking it out nicely is Rama Salim, one of the substitutes in the second half. 77th minute of play. 6-0. France leads. Bahrain will have the throw in. And here comes Sean Lewis. Handing over the pizza, I should say, on the steps.
Sean Lewis, one of the top sport directors in the Army, I'd have to say.
I would too, and he's only been in this job for about 3 years, but he's clearly made a mark for himself within the realm of Army sports directors.
Retired lieutenant colonel. Was at Penn State studying.
You had to throw that in, didn't you?
You had
to throw the Penn State
thing in.
Absolutely.
I'm going there. Penn Stater myself. Sean and I actually were there at around the same time, probably crossed paths during research studies that we were doing. You know, just don't remember him at the time, but yeah, former Patriot missile officer. Retired, settled down 3 years ago, came here at Bliss, and just doing an outstanding job all around.
Eric Hildreth, the Chief of Community Recreation here. Yep. I spent really probably a full day. I spent about 5 hours one day and 3 or 4 hours another day, and we toured most of the recreation facilities, and they just do a fine job. They've got a great staff. They've got some great facilities, great programs, shot down towards the goal, and Abdullah's going to be there. She cuts that one off in pretty good shape. But we're talking about the Community Recreation Division at Fort Bliss, and really, in all honesty, you talk about, well, premier places, you're going to have to consider that as one of the premier recreation divisions. They won the Army Award for Outstanding Recreation Division for large installations here just last year.
Not surprised. Not surprised. Eric Hildreth, he was the former sports director here before he assumed the role as community recreation chief. But, I mean, not just community rec and sports. I mean, it's been a team effort all the way through, from all the frontline personnel, marketing division. They've been tremendous. MWR director here, very supportive. I mean, really empowers his staff to handle these programs. I mean, the fact that you have, I mean, everybody knows what they're doing. They know where they're supposed to be. If there's an issue that comes up, they know they're empowered to handle it. And you see that, and there have been no complaints from any of the teams that we've heard of, at least. I mean, maybe they might be complaining about maybe the referees, or they may be complaining about, you know, something that goes on the field. But overall, no one's complained about any of the logistics, the food, transportation. And if there's been minor complaints, then we know the team here at Bliss is taking care of it. Very proud of them.
Team Bliss, and well spoken, Steve, because that's the way it's been. Saw Babinga just coming down the field just now and looked like she might get a shot on goal, but that did not materialize.
Yeah. We've got a lot of activity on Facebook. We got quite a few comments coming in. And we even have some parents of some of our U.S. players and family members of our U.S. players watching this match as well. They appreciate the coverage, and they've been watching the games in both brackets. So thank you for watching. Specifically Amanda Sultan, I see you there. Appreciate all your comments everywhere.
It's been our pleasure to be able to bring the 2018 CISM Women's World Football Championship to you, live stream on Facebook, and then posted later to YouTube. Shot towards the goal, and again, Abdullah's there to deflect. Great attempt that time by Boutel. She thought she might have had another goal, to her credit. She had one in the 55th minute and came away empty-handed there.
Yeah, we got other comments coming in from Bahrain. It's early in the morning in Bahrain. We appreciate you watching. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Long shot from the outside. Abdullah's going to go to her left, and it's going to drift over to the right of goal. So,
yeah, we talked about the morning. Right now, 4:17 in Paris. In Bahrain, it's 5:17 a.m. So early start.
The beautiful thing about technology, of course, is that, well, it's worldwide. 4:17 in the morning in Frankfurt. Bangkok, Thailand, 9:18 in the morning.
As our sun's setting, their sun has arisen.
Spent some time in Bangkok about a couple of years ago, and found it to be a really fascinating international city in Southeast Asia.
Yeah, I would say one of my most memorable trips was going to Jakarta, Indonesia for the CISM General Assembly. 12 hours time difference between San Antonio and Jakarta. So it was easy to keep up with the family because I knew it was just that 12-hour difference. But, you know, being below the equator, seeing just knowing you're completely on the other side of the globe is just an amazing experience. So
I have a son that lives in Taiwan, and
amazing.
it's a 14-hour time difference from the central time zone where we live. We Skype pretty much every week as best we can, and when we're going to bed at night and we Skype at night, we know that they're up in the morning. But my point about that and sharing that is with the technology, whether it's the live stream of these games or whether it's Skyping or talking across the world or picking up the phone, walking down the street, talking on a cell phone to someone on the other side of the planet, the technology that we have today, we're grateful for it. Shot on the goal, goes to the left side.
Yeah, and right there, Bahrain was able to get disciplined on that particular drive. France was looking for the opening, they just couldn't get it. Bahrain was able to clear it out a little bit, forcing an errant kick off to the left side of the goal. Well done, Bahrain.
84th minute of play. And the German women's team is loosening up on the other side of the fence here at Stout Field to Fort Bliss. They've got the next game against Brazil. Brazil not out of the locker room yet.
Not yet.
I'm looking at the opposite end of the field. In fact, I change my line of sight and go down to the end of the west end of the field, and you will see Brazil loosening up.
Yeah, there we are. You can see them on the monitor. Brazil's loosening up to the west side where the mountains are.
And every team loosens up a little way. They cannot get into the field area on this side of the fence until this game comes to a conclusion. Babinga on the right side, she's challenged, it goes out of bounds. But they will loosen up to the best of their ability beyond the fences. Lack of better description. Throw in this side, Babinga, back to Pamela Babinga. And France maintains possession. Celine Deville got a rest in goal tonight. I would expect to see her out in the bronze medal match in goal. In goal tonight, Marion Mancion in the goal for France. And she's had a pretty restful night back in the goal for France.
Yes. Not a whole lot of action her way.
Babinga, right side, no offside call. All the way to the end line and a dive save. Nice job that time by Khalid Abdullah. Babinga looking for a low pass towards the center, but nobody there to take it. We're into the 86th minute.
Yeah, France is still staying into the Bahrain defensive side. Still looking to get some more points. They haven't been overly aggressive, but when the opportunity is there, they're making sure they take it.
And, Steve, that's the way you train. And in all honesty, when you get into a contest, even though it might be just a little bit off kilter like this, what you're seeing is they play the way they train. In terms of shots right now, here comes another potential opportunity, but Bahrain turns it around. In terms of shots on goal, 28 by France. A dozen saves by the Bahrainian goalkeeper Khalid Abdullah.
And then on the opposite end, no shots on goal from Bahrain yet.
6-0. Slip into the 87th minute. That one comes off of the foot of Palinson. She has been going after another goal for France to the best of her ability, but credit again Abdullah for being there.
Yep.
We're going to look at some stoppage time at the end of this half, but I doubt, Steve, that there will be more than 2 minutes of stoppage time.
Yeah, we didn't see any big injuries. The only time we saw someone down was during the mandatory water break due to the heat here per FIFA regulations. So I don't anticipate seeing more than 2 minutes.
Gillard on the right side. She'd love to get a goal. Dribble and nice defense that time. Gillard had a goal against Germany. She would like to pick up one here again tonight against Bahrain. Hasn't been able to do that, though.
We got 2 French attackers just slightly ahead of them. And we are seeing a little bit of wind starting to pick up from the west to the east. Not a whole lot, but
Not a lot.
the flag is starting to wave. And that's usually what happens when that sun sets. And the wind picks up a little.
And France will try to come up on the left side again. Play slows down. Bahrain been on the defense all night long. I say it slows down, but here comes France. Back to the center, shot, and it is a goal. Soon as you say it's going to slow down, it picks back up. And it's a goal for France. 7-0. That one came in the 89th minute. That one came off of the foot of Boutel. She picks up her second goal of the night. She had one at the 55-minute mark, and Ludovine Boutel has scored again. Bahrain been at home on defense all night long. France may not be done. Brazil scored 9 times against Bahrain. France has scored 7. And we are now into stoppage time. 5 minutes of stoppage time. That's what's been added. A little bit of a surprise. I saw a 5 up over there, and I did not see a substitution on that. There might have been a substitution that I have missed, but my thought was no. Shot on goal, and it goes up, deflected by the goalie, Abdullah, off the crossbar and back out of the play. Otherwise,
and that's going to be a throw-in.
Pamela Babinga would have had her first goal.
And it looked like a deflection, but that was a pure shot on the post, causing it to go out, and that's why Bahrain was able to throw the ball in.
Center pass, and no header opportunity. That pass that time came off the foot of Palasin, who got the first goal of this game for France. That was at the 6-minute mark. Coming up at the top of the hour, 9 o'clock Mountain Time, Game 2 today. That's going to be Germany and Brazil. The final game of 10 days of pool play. France, left side. Comes the charge across the center, and Abdullah's going to be there. France just plays schoolbook soccer. I don't know any other way to put it. Textbook soccer. But they play it to a T. They have honed their game very nicely. Now, they are all Division I, Division II players on the French team. They play at the highest levels back in France.
And they have an opportunity to play together most of the year round.
That's correct.
Those that are not stationed together, they do have the opportunity to come together during weekends and different tournaments throughout the year.
They know each other's skills very well. Now, just because you know the other party's skill, the other person's skill, that doesn't always equate to teamwork. But they know each other so well that they've got a very fine level of teamwork because they're that skilled. Bahrain will try to get it out on the right side. A little bit of fatigue perhaps kicking in with Bahrain. You saw Marta Mubarak booting it out. Into 3 minutes of stoppage time right now.
You got corner kick France. She's probably got about maybe another 2 more minutes left.
Officials, again, have done a very nice job tonight of keeping this game under control. But then again, fair play and sportsmanship, it has abounded on the field. Shot towards the goal header, and it is a goal! Goal, France, off the corner kick. Nice corner kick that time. From the corner, that was Ludovine Boutel. She gets the assist. And a textbook header again for a goal. Goal number 8 for France. It comes in stoppage time. About 3.5 minutes into stoppage time. Could not get clarity on that number. That was number 17. Came off the foot of Claire Guillard. And I told you that Guillard, who scored earlier in the tournament for France, was hoping to get a goal here tonight. She picks it up, the 8th goal of the night for France. Shot towards goal, and it's going to go right side. Babinga tried to get that one in. And I look for the official to blow that whistle any time now. Cannot be much more than 30 seconds left. But we shall see. Eight goals on the night for France. Wow. And Bahrain, they're just going to boot it to the outside. They're not even going to try to turn it back upfield. They're just going to send it out. Don't blame them at all.
No. And that sounds like the final whistle. There we go.
And there is your final whistle. As this contest has come to an end, France has beaten Bahrain 8-0, and all night long it has been France knocking at the door, and 8 times they got through the ball into the goal, and they come away with an 8-0 win. Couple of goals tonight by Gutia Kachuni, and then they kind of scored up and down the lineup. But Steve, to note, the way they did that was pure team play. You take a look at the assist, you take a look at the corners, you take a look at the headers, the passes, the pass from Babinga. I mean, they played textbook women's football tonight.
And we talked about time of possession. I mean, it was clearly 95% in favor of France. And I mean, that would be a good estimate. I mean, there was no shots on goals, unfortunately, by Bahrain.
Yeah, you're correct on that. 31 shots on goal tonight by France, 15 saves by the goalie for Bahrain, and that is Khalid Abdullah. And really no shots on goal. And a night of rest in the goal for Marion Mancion, the goalkeeper tonight for France. By virtue of this win, France will move on to the medal round. Of course, we're not going to know who's going to come out of Group B until the conclusion of the next game, and that's going to be between Germany and Brazil. And Steve, to note, that's going to be a good one. We saw Brazil earlier. They upended France after France had beaten Germany, and now they're going to have an opportunity to take on Germany themselves. And, well, that's going to be a good one. So we're going to take a timeout here. Coming up at close to the top of the hour, or when these teams are ready, we're going to come back with the final game of our round of play. Pool A finished last night with Korea getting first in Pool A, China getting second. Korea will go into the gold medal match on Tuesday night. China will go into the bronze medal match. And we will wait until the outcome of the next game to tell you who Korea's opponent and China's opponent will be on Tuesday night. So once again, your final score, France 8, Bahrain 0. We're going to step aside. We'll be back to get the next game started in roughly 20, 25 minutes from now. We'll be back after this break.